Hello indie game fans, as promised, we've an awesome week of new indie games this week, with quite a number of early access titles, but there are some highly anticipated long in development titles, some great ports, a surprise bigger game and more in this edition of Indie Gaming this week. Let's begin with Lulu's Temple, a side-scrolling action platformer that looks great, coming to us from developer Egovic, who has made some interesting titles. I do like the La Mulana and Spelunky vibes of this game, but it does look more like a straightforward action platformer, but due to the pedigree, I have to give it a mention. As covered in my video previewing the best upcoming indie games of the month, one of the coziest looking titles is Cat Cafe Manager, a management and life sim title, where you are put in charge of said cafe, having to run a profitable business while befriending the locals, residents and cats. I love the cartoony art style in this, but I hope that the management systems are deep enough to be interesting, where if they manage to do that, could potentially be a fantastic title. If you're in the mood for a good old 2D precision platformer, may I recommend Run the World in Between, one that throws quite the amount of challenge at you since you're constantly on the run from your own shadow, which will kill you if it catches up. Additionally, the levels are procedurally generated, so you do need to think on the fly, putting your platforming skills to the test. On top of all of that, there is a main story as well, looking like it would be for fans of the genre. Moving from 2D to 3D, we have Sephonie, an exploration platformer that has you exploring a massive cave network, all in the name of science. You are cataloging and studying unidentified species, uncovering mysteries both scientific and spiritual, all with a pleasant lo-fi look. It does also come to us from the developers of Anodyne 1 and 2, with this game looking more like the latter, where based on this pedigree, makes this a title of interest.
When you see a rock that's glowing, drill, and drill some more. When in doubt, Scout, drill the hell out of Lumen. And yes, the monsters, there are some. Shoot them, blow them up. You know the drill, Scout. Good luck, son. Over and out.
A great looking survival base builder is Lumencraft, having you drilling deep into the planet to extract materials while fighting off monsters, giving off a little bit of a factorial vibe but leaning more towards a top-down shooter. Just one bigger title of interest this week in the PvP detective mystery title CRIMESIGHT, pitting two players against each other in a curious case of murder, where most unexpectedly, it comes to us from developer Konami, which is just so weird given their recent history with video games. smaller games and ports begins with Car Detailing Simulator, another first-person simulator title that somehow get weirdly popular, so if you're into cars, perhaps check this out. One of the underrated Metroidvania games is Cathedral, getting a PS4 version this week in addition to Steam and Switch, so check it out if you have not. A curious little puzzle adventure game is Epiphany City, having you solve environmental puzzles with magical picture frames, where its prologue demo was well received, making the full version of interest. Friendsim 2 is a free visual novel, which is the sequel to Hive Swap Friendsim from 2018, where this whole series is from the creator of the Homestuck webcomic, making this of interest. Kingdom Workshop is another management title of interest, putting you in charge of a medieval fantasy workshop, indirectly affecting the outcome of war through what you choose to make and who you sell it to, looking pretty good for fans of the genre. Light, Black Cat and Amnesia Girl is a creepy puzzle platformer from a Taiwanese developer, giving off vibes of something like Little Nightmares, making this of interest. If you have not tried it, the excellent Nobody Saves the World gets PlayStation 4, 5 and Switch versions this week, making it available on all modern consoles after a relatively short 3-month exclusivity window, so you don't have any excuse not to get this. Rounding us off is Suhoshin, a detective mystery visual novel set in the Korean Joseon period, having quite an interesting art style that is different from the regular Japanese anime style, making this of interest.
Machines have risen. They believe it's their time to rule. But we will prove them wrong.
A fantastic top 5 kicks off with Your Gun, a top-down shooter that puts you in control of a mech, blasting away at corrupted machines and robots in order to survive. In a world filled with roguelites and action-adventure games, a change of pace would be this straightforward level-based top-down shooter, but in modern game design fashion, they've added in progression and RPG elements.
You will travel to every corner of this planet. You will grow faster and stronger. You will fight the corruption.
This game will live and die by the weapon variety and how good the action feels, but based on what I have seen, I'm pretty confident that this will at least be good, if not great.
Improvise. Change the future.
I love my Metroidvania titles, so of course, the 8-bit B.I.O.T.A got my attention, having quite the variety of colour palette choices, and does look fantastic in many ways. It is perhaps an action platformer with Metroidvania elements rather than being a straight-up Metroidvania, where there are 8 playable characters to choose from, each of which having their own special abilities. Explore a mining colony overrun by an alien plague in order to uncover a corporation's illegal activities and to rescue the various scientists, looking like one for retro game fans. A very special shoutout goes to Ghost Law, a Diablo-style action RPG that I think looks fantastic and is of special interest since it comes to us from a developer from my home country of Singapore. This incorporates Southeast Asian mythology into an action RPG, which I don't think has been done before, so expect to see Pontianaks and Guis, or hungry ghosts, rather than satyrs and skeletons, so I hope that this team can make Singapore proud. There have been a number of interesting and very satisfying physics simulators, including Besiege, Instruments of Destruction, and even first-person entries like Teardown, where another fantastic looking title is Abyss Built to Destroy. It has you building structures from parts, using these to crash into and destroying targets, but rather than being set in medieval times, does have more of a brutalist style, which is reflected in the music for this trailer as well. This, combined with the destruction physics, makes it very giftable, and might make it end up in places like oddly satisfying, where it does certainly appeal to me.
I've been waiting for you.
The early access release of Astral Ascent did take me by surprise, since it was announced after I made the preview video for the month, but this pixel art roguelite platformer from the developer of Dark Devotion is one of my most anticipated roguelites, having you battling against the 12 zodiac signs in order to escape your astral prison, looking so good, taking the #1 spot. For more pixel art or roguelite titles, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.
So bring it on!